Hello fellow stackers, 365 here, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're going to be talking about copper. So for those of you that don't like stacking copper or don't think copper deserves any place at all in your stack, this video is not for you. But for those of you like myself who like adding a little bit of copper to their stack here and there in the hope that one day it's going to make them a millionaire, then this video is definitely for you. So let's get straight into it. Now, first of all, we're going to do a little bit of an update video on these bars down here. Now, these are the bars that I decided to do a little experiment with. These were both brought from Cardiff Gold. This is how they arrived. They arrived in this vacuum sealed bag, and it does say a warning at the top there. Removing the bag from the packaging will cause it to change appearance and tarnish. So I wanted to put that to the test and see how much it changed. And this is the bar that I cut out. So you can see it actually hasn't tarnished that much. You probably could say that it's gone a little bit tarnished, but it's very hard to compare because this one is through the plastic. This one doesn't look as shiny anyway. This one looks more of a matte finish. Whereas because this one's out the plastic, it does actually look shinier anyway. So even if this has started to tarnish, it still looks better, in my opinion, in the hand than having the big old plastic round it. So there we go. It hasn't tarnished as much as probably some of you thought it would when I first cut it out of that vacuum sealed bag. And in my opinion, it still looks really, really nice. So that is the first piece of copper we're going to have a look at. The second piece is the stack at the back there. Got a nice stack of 6 bars there. This is made by a company called Ingots We Trust, but I'm not actually sure what's going on with them at the moment because myself included and a number of other people in the comments section have reached out to this company via their website, via email, and they've got no response. So I don't know if they're taking a little bit of a break. I don't know if they've gone on holiday and they forgot to update their website to reflect that. I'm not really sure. But I actually reached out to this company a few weeks ago now, maybe even a month ago now, and got no reply. And I also sent them a follow-up email, and again, I got no reply. So, yeah, not too sure what's going on with this company. They do still have stuff listed on eBay, so maybe it's worth giving them a shout on eBay if you're trying to get hold of one of these bars. But yeah, these are really cool, 1 kilogram each, and they stack very, very nicely in the backdrop of my videos. Now, when I start talking about copper, I do like to go around and grab all the copper that I have to hand. We also have another 1 kilogram Geiger square here. This, I believe, was from Cardiff Gold. I think they've still got some of these in stock. Really, really nice slab of copper. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Copper is not going to make you rich. Copper bullion is not a great investment. If you want to invest in copper and you think the copper is going to perform very well over a long period of time, buy it in the big tubes that you get when you're replacing your boiler or something like that. You know, when you go to B&Q or a hardware store and you see the long tubes of copper, in my opinion, that's the best way to buy it. That's the way you're going to get it as cheap as possible. Buy it, buy a few rolls of them, whack them in your garage, and then revisit it in 5 to 10 years and see how much they've got up. Because if you're buying copper bullion, there's a huge premium on it, and there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to maintain that premium when you come to sell this in the future. I haven't actually sold any copper, so I don't really know how well it sells, how quick it sells. When I see things listed on the Stacker Social Marketplace, I do see people liquidating copper fairly quickly. But it's very hard for me to say if you're going to make money on it, if you're going to maintain those premiums. So just be very careful and add copper with caution. I do it because I think it's really fun. I think it's a great looking metal. And because it's a hell of a lot cheaper than silver, in between those silver purchases, you can buy a little bit of copper. This is circulated copper, 365 days of copper. I can't actually remember who sent me this now. How bad is that? Let me know in the comment section. If you're watching today's video and you sent me this, let me know. But I'm going to get a load of hate for this because this is basically fractional copper. You could call this fractional copper. This is old circulated US currency. These are all 1 cent. And I'm not sure what the copper content is. Maybe it's 100% copper. I'm not too sure. Let me know. Those of you from the US, let me know. What's the percentage on these 1 cents? Are they full copper? Are they 90%? I'm not too sure. And yeah, sorry to the person that sent me this. Do let me know in the comment section if you're watching, but someone sent me this. 365 days of copper. And this was round about the time that I was making loads of videos on copper. I went for a stage and I was loving it. I was buying so much of it. I can keep going. I've got so much of this stuff sitting around, just around this desk. I've actually got something, believe it or not, I've actually got a safe full of copper, which is a bit crazy really to think I've got a separate safe just with copper in. But yeah, I do love it. I think it's a really cool metal. You can stack it nice and high because it is so cheap compared to silver. But like I said, be careful. The premiums are extremely high. Look at it like a bit of fun. Enjoy it when you're stacking it. Don't think that this is going to make you a millionaire. Don't take money away from your silver investments to put into copper. If you have money that you allocated to silver, do not think, right, I'm going to add some to copper. I would suggest continuing to buy this stuff instead. It's your money, do what you please with it. But I do like a bit of copper, as you can see. I've also got, where's it gone? There it is. Well, I'm going to have to move something around to get to this, but this is going to be worth it. Oh, this is the big boy. Look at that. 5 kilograms of copper. Now, this is basically a huge version of those smaller bars that I've got stacked up over the back over there. I've got to be careful because it's very reflective. But you can see it's got the riverbed effect on the bottom of it as well. Absolutely stunning. I've got to be really careful because it's very, very reflective. These are all treated with a special varnish, so they don't tarnish like some of the other copper bars do. It's actually got 365 stamped on the side there, which was a nice touch from the company. But yeah, got to be really careful with that because of how reflective it is. But that is an absolute lump. I'm actually going to take it off the screen just because it's so reflective, and I'm sitting here filming with no top on because it's going to be another really hot day today in the UK. But let's get into the new pickup, the latest pickup. And that is what this video was going to be all about, showcasing the latest piece of copper that I've added to my copper stack. First of all, before we get into it, I'm going to unpackage something that's from the same company. I actually started opening this already, and that is because I've actually sent some of these over to someone in the community to add to their giveaways. But you can see some Cardiff Gold have sent me some Cardiff Gold pouches. Yeah, I've been after these for ages. I've been seeing everyone that's buying stuff from Cardiff Gold getting them turn up in these really cool pouches, and I've been feeling really left out. And I have been quite vocal about it actually on Stacker Social, saying, when do I get one of these pouches? And he's very, very kindly, Dan over at Cardiff Gold and the team over there have very, very kindly sent me a whole load of these pouches. So that is really cool. I don't need this many, so I'm going to use these to send out mail calls and things like that I do in the community. People that are doing giveaways and stuff like that, I'll send them over and we can get them out there and raise awareness for a really, really great company. Cardiff Gold is not one of the biggest UK bullion dealers in the country. It's not one of the main ones that you've probably already heard of, but it's an extremely good company. The customer service is second to none. The team that run Cardiff Gold, most of them are actually in Stacker Social, so you've got a direct line to them. It's not like some companies where you buy something and you want to speak to someone in person, it takes ages to try and get hold of them. You send them an email, you don't hear back, you try and call the office, they're on lunch or they're not there, no one's answering. Cardiff Gold are very easy to get hold of, and they're very good at helping answer your questions and giving you some tips and advice before you make your purchases. But there we go, they've also sent me some pens, so I will get some of those out to people in the community as well. So thank you very much, Cardiff Gold. I will leave a couple of them in the backdrop because this pickup that we're going to be doing now is actually from Cardiff Gold. So that's why I did that little unboxing before doing this one. But this one is a monster. Now, I have found a bit of a loophole, really. I was actually buying copper for around about between 25 and 40 pounds a kilogram. So these bars here, these branded Cardiff Gold ones, these are actually the cheapest way of picking up a bullion 1 kilogram copper bar over on Cardiff Gold's website. It's their own branded one, and I believe these are currently selling for £25. So that is really, really cool. If you pick up something like this that has a bit more fancy box into it and wrapping and COAs and stuff, you're looking at around about £38 to £40. So you can see quite a large jump up just for the branding and the name. But then I found, like I said, a bit of a loophole over on Cardiff Gold's website. And I don't know how long these have been on there for, but when I saw them, I actually didn't even see them. Someone's mentioned these in Stacker Social, and they said that if people want to get bullion copper, then this could potentially be a better way of doing it. So let me get into it first before I go into too much detail of what we've got here. But these are actually still available on Cardiff Gold's website at the moment. I don't know if they still come in the same packaging that we've got here, because you'll see in a minute they normally come in different packaging, but I believe the company sent out the wrong packaging or something like that, so that's why I got them like this. But they normally come in bags, I believe. You'd have to reach out to Dan and find out. But here we go. Let me just make a little bit of room. God, I've got no room now. Right, so here we go. So these are, like I said, from Cardiff Gold. It's 1,000 grams of copper grain. So 1 kilogram of copper. And these actually cost £15 each. So if you head over to Cardiff Gold's website now, and let me just quickly fact check that, because I don't want everyone going over there and complaining that I've given out misinformation. Cardiff Gold. This is their website. Really, really easy to use website. And the way you find this is it's hidden actually. It's not even under the copper section. So if you go to copper bars, you'll see all of their different copper bars that they have for sale. You can buy a 10-ounce version from Germania Mint. You can get a copper collection where you get one of each type. You can get 4 of the 500-gram ones. All different bundles they do as well. I actually bought that bundle a couple of years ago, or about a year ago, I think. 4 times 5 kilogram bars. Huge bundle, massive bars. I haven't got one of them to hand at the moment, but yeah, massive bars. We've got £25 there we go. So that's £25 for the Cardiff Gold bar. But hidden, and this is a secret menu, so you wouldn't think to look for copper under silver, but it's actually hidden. So if you click on silver and you go down to casting grain and granules, and you scroll down, there we go. Look, we've got a hidden section there amongst the silver category. That is 1 kilogram of copper casting granules, £15. So this is perfect for those of you that are just starting to pour, because you don't want to mess around using silver straight away, because the silver costs 100 grams of fine silver costs £101. So a huge difference in terms of how much the grain costs. So if you're just starting to pour, why don't you buy some of this and practice with copper? Copper comes out amazingly well as well. When you pour it, it looks so nice. You've only got to have a look at some of the things that GSH has poured, and you'll see how nice you can probably hear me moving stuff around, because I'm just getting to the GSH piece now. I've actually got here ready to work out where it's going to go on my backdrop. But this is something I picked up from GSH, and he pours copper. Look at that. Absolutely incredible. Stunning. Probably my favourite piece of copper in my entire collection. I can't remember exactly what it weighs now, but lovely. I love this side, how it looks really raw, and you can see how it's been hand poured, but then you turn it round and you get such a beautiful image. So look at that. Really, really cool. And this is perfect, this stuff here. If you want to practice pouring, start off with copper, because you can see how nice it comes out. And this stuff will still sell. It's still, in my opinion, a work of art. A lot of time goes into producing these pieces. Now that leads me on quite nicely, actually, to do another plug. So not only are we plugging Cardiff Gold and saying thank you to Cardiff Gold for getting these out to me very, very quickly. I think they normally come in bags, so do double check if you want them in tubs. I don't know how many of these tubs are left in stock, but they do normally come in bags, I believe, of 1 kilogram grain. But I got 3, and like I said, they were £15 each. So a really nice way to bring down my overall stack of copper. I'll just chuck these in my copper safe. But yeah, really cool. And I think they make good backdrops as well. If you've got one of those plastic jars shaped like a skull or something like that, you can just fill it with this stuff instead of filling it with silver. So yeah, really, really cool. But yeah, moving on to the final part of the video, and let's give GSH a huge shout out, because GSH is actually hosting a live auction over on Stacker Social. Now, I'm going to put the full event details on the screen now so you can see the date and the time and everything on there. But it's going to be hosted, well, it's going to be co-hosted with the Stack Collector. So the Stack Collector is going to be kind of running the auction alongside GSH. But GSH and his partner, Mrs. GSH, have been working behind the scenes to produce some absolutely stunning pieces of poured copper, poured zinc, poured aluminium. I believe there's some poured silver in there as well. Loads and loads of really cool pours. And these are great. These are great for ornaments and things like that, because let's face it, if this was made out of silver, one, it wouldn't be in my budget to be able to pick up something of this size and weight. And two, I wouldn't want to display this somewhere around my house, because if it was made of silver, it'd be worth in the thousands. And if someone wants to come into my house and steal it, you've just lost a huge chunk of your wealth. Whereas something like this that's made out of aluminium or zinc or copper, you could store this in your house. You could hang this on the wall. You'd have to get a really strong nail or something to hang it from, but you could hang this on the wall. You could put it on your mantelpiece. You could literally have this as like a piece of art in your house. And there's not as much value sitting around, so it's not as, although you'd still be gutted if this got stolen, it wouldn't be a huge chunk of money that you've lost at the same time. So yeah, they're really, really cool for displaying, really cool work of art. There's so much work that goes into these, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but I believe it's actually harder to pour with copper than it is with silver. I think that's the case, so let me know if I've got that right or whether I've made that up, but I think it is slightly harder to pour with copper. So yeah, a lot of work goes into these, and just the cleanup process as well takes a lot of time. But yeah, keep a lookout on Stacker Social for the upcoming auction. I've definitely got my eye on a couple of little bits. If you go over to the GSH auction room on Stacker Social, there's actually been a catalogue released to show you the starting prices and what's up for grabs. So go and have a little look through there, and I will see you on that live auction, which is coming very, very soon. So there we go, we're going to wrap the video up. Let me know in the comment section what you think about copper. Whenever I do these videos, I always get quite a lot of hate for copper. Not many people in the community love copper as much as I do. I just keep looking around and seeing more copper dotted around the backdrop. But there we go, we're going to wrap the video up. That's quite a good thumbnail, I think. All the copper. Let's move that out of the way. Chuck one of them on top. And there we go. One of them there as well. Get rid of the empty capsule, I don't know why that's in there. Another one on top. Oh, I'm just really bulking up this now because this will make a really cool thumbnail. Put that there. There we go. So thanks very much for watching. Let me know in the comment section what you think about copper. Does it have a place in your stack? Is it a waste of time and money? And what do you think about fractional copper? There we go, very controversial. It was a bit of a controversial video I did the other day on fractional silver, but fractional copper, how about that? So yeah, thanks very much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe and all that fun stuff. And I hope you have a very nice day.